So to catch you up to speed, if you hadn't seen the first Ready or Not movie, basically a girl marries into a wealthy family, and they have a tradition where every new member must play a randomly selected game at midnight on their wedding night. The girl Grace draws hide and seek, which for some reason means the family must sacrifice her before dawn, or a curse will kill them all. Then they try and kill her, she eliminates some of them, and then dawn comes, and they all implode because of the curse, leaving Grace as the sole survivor. The mansion burns down as the emergency responders arrive, and then she goes to the hospital in custody. The current ruling family of the LaBelle Power, LaBelle being the guy who makes people explode, is the Danforths. The Danforths and the lawyer of the cult council learn about the result of the recent hide-and-seek game involving Grace and the Les Dumas family. Chester Danforth and the lawyer contact all the families of the pack to participate in the next game, where they have to hunt Grace again for the seat of power. Titus and Ursula Danforth learn that they must elim Pops so he doesn't have a chance to participate in the game to keep the seat of power. Mr. Wilkinson tries to get an early start on the hunting by throwing a knife at some random cop. If we were down to break the rules for unlimited power, we should at least try and stealth this mission rather than killing the first cop you see in front of 20 witnesses. Even if we do kill Grace, we're still going to need to get away with it without spending the rest of her life in prison. Wilkinson does get the upper hand, but gets LaBelle mad in the process by cheating and is exploded. Grace and her sister are captured by the lawyer and brought to the estate for the final game. Then we are introduced to all the participating family members: Ursula Danforth, Titus and Kip Danforth, Wan Chen Jing and Wan Changfu, Viraj Rajan, Madhu and Martina Rajan, Ignacio Alcedo, Francesca and Felipe. The rules for the hunt are as follows. Whoever wins gets the high seat and controls the world. If the seat is not filled by dawn, Mr. LaBelle will be mad. Either Grace survives until dawn and she wins the seat, or the council member who kills her before dawn gets the seat.
The council members must use a weapon that existed during the period in which their ancestor made his or her bargain with Mr. LaBelle. The council members are not allowed to kill each other. If they do, even by accident, Mr. LaBelle will be angry.
LaBelle being mad just means they explode.
And the offending family's entire bloodline will be punished. Beyond that, anything goes. In the unlikely event that any of the hunters should perish, the next person in that family's line of succession must take their place in the field.
The hunters start at the manor with their weapons and golf carts, while Grace and her sister start at the far end of the golf course. Looking at each family's build, from what I could gather, the Alcedo family likely joined in the late 20th century, with Ignacio sporting a AWM sniper rifle. This is a great choice for the start of the hunt, but if he was planning on using the golf cart anyways, he could have brought any modern semi-automatic with higher capacity and close to medium range versatility, like this 16-inch heavy barrel with an Diotech EXPS-3 with the magnifier. Juan likely joined in the 16 to 1700s, as she uses a katana, but she also uses a drone later, but not as an offensive weapon, so again possibly 16 to 1700s. The Danforths using a flintlock pistol and mace are likely late 1700s, early 1800s. I would have not used a flintlock as they have poor accuracy, limited capacity, and are prone to failure. The simple fixed blade knife would have sufficed. Finally, the Rajan family using a sword are likely around the same time period. When the hunt starts, the Danforths are the only ones with the keys to the golf cart, giving them the initial advantage. At this point, there is not much for Juan and Rajan to do as they have no ranged weapons. Based on background footage of Grace's start point, they are likely at this hole, as we can see the shack and the pond in the background. The distance between the start point of Grace and the hunters is just over 600 meters. If Ignacio can make it to the roof in time, the AWM's 338 Pula is well within effective range. Unfortunately for him, they make it to the tree line before he is available to take a shot. Ursula, wasting her ult shooting at the drone instead of Grace, somehow develops bullseye-level accuracy to shoot a drone on a moving vehicle with a flintlock pistol that has a 15 to 20 MOA. As they enter the tree line, the only viable chance of success lies in the Danforths. The initial strategy of using Ursula to distract them is smart. However, Titus being a loud dumbass costs them their opportunity. This scene immediately shows the faults in a two-handed weapon. While having a fixed blade knife would have been much more effective, a two-handed weapon is much easier for your enemy to avoid and get a hold of, compared to a knife in fast hands presents a much more difficult challenge for a defender to face. With his mace now inoperable, he slams the girls to the ground and quickly loses the 2v1. At this point, realistically, the girls would just try and hide in the woods until dawn, but luckily for us, they appear on the open greens for Ignacio to take a shot from the building. While he waited for them to appear, he should have been using his rangefinder and taking shots at a distant tree to zero his rifle. If this were us, we'd already be at the high table controlling the world. But due to Ignacio's incompetence and lack of training, he hits the eject lever rather than pressing the trigger, ejecting the magazine onto the ground. Regardless of the magazine being in the rifle, you should still shoot them now anyways, as it can be fired with just a round in the chamber. Ignacio fumbling around with the magazine causes a negligent discharge, alerting Faith and Grace to take cover and become moving targets. As we can also see in the scene, he's not properly zeroed because he's shooting far left and low. And somehow his zero significantly changes in this next scene, so he may just have terrible recoil anticipation. The girls successfully make it to a position of concealment. The girls hide behind what looks to be soft cover, easily penetrated by the 338 Lapua. Ignacio failing to shoot allows the girls to use the heater to create smoke, causing Ignacio to blind fire into the smoke. Given the rules of this game, we should not blindly fire. There will likely be other hunters nearby, and we risk killing them. When Rajan appears, Ignacio hits the propane tank, causing it to explode, nearly killing Rajan in the process. At this point, we don't know if Rajan is dead or not, so instead of waiting for him to get up, he should shoot at Grace while she is immobile. Either he'll explode anyways, or Rajan is alive, and he won't, and therefore will have a clean shot. Rajan gets up, and Ignacio loses his chance as they enter the building. Rajan, in pursuit, follows them to the maintenance and laundry area. At this point, he should lose the mask unless it offers significant protection, as it will limit his breathing and peripheral vision. He's then pathetically beaten up by blankets and a laundry cart. And instead of trying to aura farm in here, he should be as quick to getting to Grace as he can, while still being aware of attack from behind. He is thrown into the washer, leading to his death. He should have been more tactful when he followed them, keeping distance with his blade and working on circular movements to maintain distance and control of the 2v1. After Rajan is defeated, the girls call 911 and the call is intercepted by the Danforths, in which they tell them to head to the main gate. They head upstairs and are stopped by Juan, who tries to get Grace to marry her chud son to stop the games. Juan should use her opportunity to kill her now, as we have no real assurances that she's actually intending to marry him. The conversation is interrupted by Ignacio's poor shooting, and Juan blocks Ignacio's sightline from Grace. When Ignacio approaches the girls attack Juan, causing the katana to kill Ignacio. Because a council member killed another, LaBelle is angered and blows them up, the chud included. Nighttime approaches, and the girls head to the main gate, while the Danforths wait to ambush them. Titus answers the phone to act as a separate operator, but due to his terrible acting, makes the girls suspicious. At this point, the Danforths should stay in their ambush location, instead of going searching for the girls, because by doing this, they are counter-ambushed by them. Grace and Faith get the advantage on both the Danforths, holding a knife and a gun to both of them. They should just kill both of the Danforths now, but luckily for them, they decide to talk shit for like 10 minutes to get interrupted by Martina driving a car at them. Martina blasts through the fence, hitting no one. And during the struggle over the weapons, Faith breaks free of Titus, and he spends like 10 fucking minutes dicking around in this bush instead of getting the jump on Grace. Ursula does a clean-ass judo throw on Grace and goes for the least fatal stab wound ever, instead of the eye or the neck. Stabby things are not like one-time uses, they are for multiple uses. Instead, she opts for the proven useless-ass mace and is bucked off by the sister at the last second. Titus, are you fucking serious, dude? How tangled were you in that fucking bush? He clearly just does not give a shit about controlling the world, and then the sisters just escape on the golf cart. Francesca is now replacing Ignacio as the hunter. Faith is doing first aid on Grace when Francesca appears with a LOL rocket launcher. This is clearly a terrible weapon for a hunter, as it poses way too many risks. It can only be shot once. You could kill another hunter. You could certainly kill yourself with shrapnel by shooting it indoors. Francesca shoots the LOL backwards, which was probably safer than shooting it 10 meters in front of her, as they have a kill range of 20 meters. It leads to a long girl fight where they are both OC sprayed and no one can see. Meanwhile, Titus sniffed out Faith in the basement with that article of clothing he grabbed earlier, and is just beating her up for fun. Grace knocks Francesca unconscious, and Titus is stopped by Ursula to use Faith as leverage, which is basically the first smart play done by anyone in this movie.
Titus is also getting tired of Ursula being a bitch subplot.
Stop treating me like I'm a fucking child.
Titus tells Grace that he has Faith hostage over the intercom.
I just want everyone to know that I really appreciate all the hard work. You know, watching you guys is like a night in, watching my favorite movie. What was the name of that movie again? Oh yes, Attack of the Stupid Bungling Idiots Who Can't Find an Even Bigger Idiot Running Around Dressed Like a Man. Now get to it. I'm getting bored.
Now that we have our sister, things should be pretty easy. Set up in a location where Grace must enter a fatal funnel and can be easily ambushed by the remaining hunters. Grace grabs a shotgun from the security hut and approaches the building. Francesca tries to attack her with shit-talking and is put down immediately. Now that we know she has a shotgun, we can still stick with the same plan. If the hunters arm themselves with knives in a thin hallway with multiple entrances, attacking from multiple sides, will make it highly unlikely that a pump-action shotgun will be an effective weapon. Again, the hunters make a terrible decision by choosing the most open area to hold their hostage at, giving Grace another advantage. Grace breaks into the main room searching for her sister when she is ambushed by Felipe, who had just become a hunter after Francesca's death. Luckily for her, he brings 2 automatic Berettas, guaranteeing he will miss. Grace on the run hides herself in the freezer, locking it with a metal bar. Titus successfully uses Faith as leverage when he threatens to kill her to get her to come out of the freezer. Grace agrees, but only if he marries her. It is a loophole that Juan explained earlier about marrying the chud. Grace makes Titus promise to Mr. LaBelle that he won't hurt her,
I swear to Mr. LaBelle that no harm shall come to you or your sister.
so now he can either do that and actually have to marry her, or he can just remove the hinges on the freezer that are on the outside of the door and slide it out of place, making that little bar contraption ineffective. Ultimately, Titus agrees and swears to Mr. LaBelle that no harm will come to either of them. But if he only agreed to that, and they aren't married yet, couldn't any of the other hunters still kill her? That really isn't fleshed out, so we don't know. None of the other hunters try to kill her, and they prepare for the wedding ceremony. Ursula starts plotting against Titus immediately with Grace, but he is eavesdropping on her,
Thank you for
and exposes that you can kill a family member without being exploded rule. The evil wedding ceremony begins, creepy imagery and anti-Catholic blood ritual stuff. As soon as they are officially married, Grace kills Titus with the pen. Now that she has the power of the world with the ring, in a shocking turn of events, knowing the seat must be filled before dawn, she turns it down. She ain't take the ring, but she turns it down. Yeah, she turns it down just to do this, just to grind from the rep. Yeah, controlling the world and everything. She think it was like in the US. Yeah, like a big organization in the US. It was like a big cult though. And they offered her like 15, some shit like 10 billion or something like that. 5 billion, something like that. On high table. Yeah. Like what the fuck, y'all? If you know what I'm saying? Can't really blame her though, because she was just like so younger. Like, she didn't even know what it was. She turned it down. It was a high table, like, she had to control the world for like this decade. Yeah, it was somewhat like, it was in the billions though. The ring was not put on in time, causing all of the cult members to be exploded. With basic critical thinking skills and minimal firearms and combat training, I think Grace and Ready or Not 2 Hide and Seek could have been beaten.